Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Paranormal Talk. Hope everyone's having a great evening, great afternoon, great morning, because I know this show is a worldwide global audience show. So, wherever you may be in the wee hours of the morning, catching a little buzz, listening to us on the radio, in the early morning over there in Australia around lunchtime, saying, hey, it's a little weird listening to these guys early in the morning. Like, just put a little coffee might wake me up a little bit. For our friends in the UK, it's perfect listening time. It's around midnight. Y'all like, yeah, kind of time, get a little creeped out and stuff. For our friends out on the East Coast, of course, it's 6 in the evening. For our friends out on the West Coast, it's still early afternoon over there. They're half of them not even home yet. They're driving the car going, oh man, I gotta get home. I gotta get home. It sounds weird listening to this in the car. I do get a lot of people who tell me listening to strange paranormal stuff during the daytime in their car seems to be weird. And I always ask them why, and they never can give me an answer on why. But a lot of people tell me this. I said, look, people, paranormal is not just for the dark. And remember, like down here, it's basically not going to get dark. It's going to start getting daylight around 6, and it's not going to get dark till about 9. And then if you're out in Arizona, it's even later than that. So people, you gotta you gotta enjoy the daylight. But anyway, I'm gonna introduce everybody. Let everybody say hi, and then I'm gonna flip on another computer. So let's see who. Let's start. Mike. We never start with Michael first. We always make him last. So we're gonna start with Michael tonight. Michael, what's your name, man?
Hi.
Frank.
Hi.
Bob. Christopher. Are you really?
Angley.
Are you sure you're
doing
not Chris
shows
George?
Tuesdays, Thursdays, Mondays, Fridays. I don't know. Just find me. Find me.
Just find me.
Find me. God damn it.
Yeah, listen. He's the first implanted male from an alien baby. So y'all look him up. We're gonna have somebody else come check him out. The alien doctor, Seraphine. What's up, baby?
Hey, it's Seraphine Hurley. How you guys doing? Infinite Inquisition and Tripping the Void, which is tomorrow.
Which is tomorrow. Man, it's already Monday. I keep forgetting. Dale, what you up to?
Hey, you know what? I'm really glad I'm in the center square here tonight. I'm right at the top, down on the bottom.
Square. Oh shit! It's all when you come into the queue. It's all when you come in. Tell them where they can find you. Well, it's tomorrow night for you too.
Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, or that'd be 8 Central for the rest of you people that aren't on the real part of the world that is in that Eastern time zone, where all the important stuff happens. But yep, the delicious recipe, 9 p.m. Tuesday.
9 p.m. Tuesday, that's right. Michelle, how are you this evening? Michelle's been having to put up with me all afternoon creating a new YouTube site, which we'll talk about later in the show. Michelle, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you? You can find Amelia and I on the Outer Realm Radio every Wednesday and Thursday, 8 to 10 Central and 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern. And you can find me Saturdays with Joe Montaldo on the Gray Zone Uncensored, 6 to 8 Eastern, 5 to 7 Central.
We've been racking up some big numbers on Sunday. George wrote in and said he don't believe Amelia is real. He's never heard her before. But George, Wednesday and Thursday, you can go listen to her. Trust me, she's real. She might be an alien, but she's real.
Not real, indeed.
Real alien, yes, she's a real alien. But freeze Jesus, people, y'all are on crack tonight. Hold on, let me put my glasses back and say read some crazy text. Anyway, we're gonna get started, but I'm gonna put the question on the floor because I got to turn the other two servers on. But we've talked about this on this show. We've talked about Michelle and I have done this, and I'm sure every show on this network's talked about this 4, 5, 6 times. But before we get into hauntings and things like that, what is it? I mean, every week, I get at least 3 things. Well, what is a ghost really, Joe? What do they do? How do they exist? What are they for? How do they become? So I was I'm kind of like, well, that's a lot of questions, but we can deal with that. So we're gonna start with Seraphine, and then we're gonna work our way around. So Seraphine, go.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear part of that. There was a bunch of
somebody
noise.
smack Seraphine around for me. No, I said I want to know. We get all these people who write in weekly and asking about what is a ghost. How does a ghost come to be? What makes it be? How does it actually come to be? And how does it come to bug you?
It's the chicken or the egg now, but nobody can actually prove without a shadow of a doubt whatever is true. So we can all give our personal thought on it, but are any of us actually going to be right?
Speak for yourself. I'm always right.
Yeah, right. We'll ask Linda that question shortly.
I agree 100%.
Right. But yeah, when you ghost or however you want to talk about them, it's like we've all had personal experiences with them on this panel, and we've all, you know, have our personal opinions. So this is going to be an interesting night. That is for definite sure.
So for definitely sure. Let's see who's next. I can't see around this, so we're gonna have to peek around the corner. Oh, Dell's next. Go ahead, Dell. I heard a blue.
Okay, so we're going counterclockwise now. Okay.
We're just going jumbled around tonight.
Well, anyways, yeah, it's really interesting. There is that that ghosts seem to be around or happening a lot more. Maybe it's just a more awareness is being brought into it because of technology that we're seeing this. Like I can remember back in the 70s and 80s, and when we didn't have computers as readily we did, and we had 3 channels on the TV. Talking about ghosts wasn't a big issue or a topic. And so now we have like this free flow of information out there, and maybe that it's been there, and just now we just are readily available to hear everybody's story.
Oh, look. Oh, so Dell and Michelle are both in the center square tonight. Hello, Lee. Hello. Before going on with the question, Lori Lee, tell everybody hi and where they can find you.
Okay, hi everybody. Hopefully I'm not cutting out. Let me know if I will. Or I am. I'll have to join Dell down in the cage if I am. But I'm Laura Lee Potvin. I'm the host of the Angel Rock. And tonight I was supposed to have Bill Bean, but he has kind of work that gets called at the last minute. So I'm going to give a huge shout out to the Dell. And I've got Jim, Big Jim. Selena's coming on tonight. They got a podcast and paranormal experiences. So it's Paranormal Story Hour at 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. to 10 tonight. And the lovely Seraphine Hurley, who is here, my PIC bestie and co-host, we're on Trip in the Void. And thank you. I love you guys. So glad to be here.
Okay, that was an earful.
I know.
I was just, good thing I'm over here playing with Serge. I'm like, God damn, she can talk a lot, can't she?
That's why I'm a host. Because
that's why you're a host. I was just getting ready to say that. That's exactly why you're a host. Let's see who's next. Oh, well, we'll go with Michelle. We got Michael over here in the corner, so we'll go with Michelle. Now you know what a ghost is. You live with the damn things.
I do. My ghosts aren't stuck though. They're just happy to be here. It was their house first. I don't know why.
Their house first. You got to explain that.
Well, this house basically was built by a family. It was built by the husband for his wife so she could entertain. They were an influential family, very well-to-do here in the area. And they had garden parties. They would sell tickets. It used to be a much larger property, but this was basically an entertainment house. So the actual family held on to it until the late 1960s. And then, of course, it was all parted out and everybody left. And it fell into a little bit of disrepair. It was turned into apartments. It's done a lot of weird things, but we've pretty much restored it, and now it's back to where it should be. And spirits seem pretty happy. And every now and then we get some that just sort of wander in that shouldn't be here, that cause a little bit of ruckus. But otherwise, they're here. The lady of the house, is still here, and she's just happy to be here. She's quite helpful, to be honest. We don't get all the extreme things happening that used to happen, with doors just swinging open in the middle of the day when you're trying to walk through them, being greeted at the front door when you come in by some male voice that we didn't know who it was. But
oh, bitch.
Yeah, well, not that harsh, thankfully. But
Michelle, you said entertainment house. Can you say what type of entertainment? Was that like a house of ill repute?
No, but I will tell you, now that you mentioned that, the husband used to own, he did own the train station down here. That was a really big establishment. It's a really big, beautiful building. And they did have such entertainment at said establishment. And every now and then they would bring one of the ladies here, much to the dismay of the lady of the house. So basically, between that and the main house, she was just getting a little fed up. All of the children were quite of age at that time. They were much older adults. So this house was specifically for her to have guests in, and eventually they all moved into it, and business as usual.
No business as usual.
Funny that you should make mention of
Well,
that. Yep.
the house I live in was also an entertainment house, but not that kind, Lord.
Yes. Well, I don't think it was her plan. Sell tickets for that. No.
Most of these houses where I live are designed for partying.
Yeah.
So have you encountered in there like party ghosts that do sort of sexual things to people, or be sort of
Here?
bum or something
Okay.
like that?
I could tell you a story of someone who was in bed when this was a B&B at one time, and they were in bed and they were trying to sleep, and they were woken in the middle of the night, and the bed was shaking, and it was like there was something going on in the bed right literally beside them, and they were just like, "Hey, get another room." So,
Right, get another damn room.
It was like that. It was. And that's the only story I've heard of that sort of activity. Even though there's a little girl that was here that was said to climb into bed. I mean, she's climbed in with me a couple of times, and you just sort of wake up and she's, kind of like right there. But otherwise, or, walking in when you're in the shower, things like that, and you have to yell out private time, then she leaves.
No, I'll be walking around with holy water. Get out, get out, get out, get out.
You're trying to bear in mind that they're still in, like, she's still a little girl, right? And she's not stuck here by any means. I mean, she's just here.
You did.
I don't know. We don't even know where the hell she comes from, really.
Good evening, little girl. Did you know you were dead? Get out.
I know. We've done it. She's not stuck. She doesn't even belong to the family, oddly enough. She just kind of wandered in once, and
she done adopted your ass. That's what happened, like a stray cat. Now we got
I think so.
Adopting you. See?
I think she really loves Wayne. It's not
normal
me.
Normal people adopt stray cats, stray dogs. Stray
we have those too.
We have those stray ghosts. Oh God.
No, there's ghost cats here.
Well, Laurie's just as bad as you are, so Amelia probably is too. Don't give me the hand. You know it's true. Go ahead. Where is she?
Yeah, this comes into a question there too. There with this is this like so this is a different type of ghost that is a free flowing one and not a repetitive story ghost that's sort of doing things, right? Is that what you're sort of saying? Because that's the thing that we've sort of talked about many times on the show about. Is it like an image that sort of repeats a lot of time,
like a replay?
Yeah, or something different. So this is a peeping Tom ghost that likes to watch around and see what you're doing in your house.
Well, she's really, she's smaller. We know that there used to be. It's funny because when the family built the house, the children were all adults. There were no little children in this home at all. Yet there have been mediums who've come in here and said, "Oh, there's an Irish nanny," because the family was like Irish, and they're very infatuated, like with tattoos, especially Celtic ones, and she would read to the children, and we're in the old servants' quarters, and we're like, "But where do the kids come from? And who the heck? Why is there a nanny?" Because to our knowledge, nobody in the history of the house fit that bill and lived here.
Well, maybe the kids came from the woods where the trees were cut down.
Yeah, something happened.
I'm just saying, maybe they were out there living in the woods, a little cottage or something.
There was a train that went behind the house
or something.
Once upon a time, there was a train rail that came behind the house.
No,
it doesn't exist anymore.
Make some good kitty pie.
There we go.
Well, before Del went live, in here, I'm speaking Del. Hang on, and he says, "Do you know where my charger is? Did you touch it when you were vacuuming?" I said, "No, I don't touch any of your stuff." And he looked all over the place. He had it plugged in. And where did you find it, Del?
Oh, I found it in a box. Yeah, that was weird. That they shouldn't have been. Should not have been in there. Anyways, it was back in the original box for the iPhone 12, wrapped up and with the extra adapter on it. Really, really weird stuff. We've had some really, I would see them I call it gremlins or little spirits that are playing little tricks around in the house, which is sort of. And I've noticed there a couple times there because we do have the cat that moves around the dog. but we've seen some sort of, I've noticed anyway, some sort of like small little shadows and things have sort of been misplaced around here. But the part there here, this is another part I want to ask Michelle here too, is with these ghosts, and this is sort of really interesting. We've talked about this a lot of times. There is that we've talked about repetition of souls, that you go out there and then you're reborn and stuff like that. Now, how does a ghost get locked in being in that one specific lifetime that it was through, right? If it's being reincarnated over and over, how does that one part there reappear or exist in here as of the soul?
Well, I mean, I don't think we ever really know till we get there, but realistically, I mean, if a soul or an essence gets left behind, it could just be that there are many theories. One, that a spirit or an individual may not know they've passed on. That could happen because of sudden death, or sometimes when people do, let's say, for example, drug overdoses or suicides, they're still not in a very good state of mind. Therefore, it's possible that they're still in that confused state of mind. Maybe they're afraid to go over, like if you're a real God-fearing person, for example. Let's face it, especially Victorian times when Puritans, is the fear of God. You go covet that neighbor's wife, you're going to hell. Well, the spirit might say, I think I'll take my chances and stay here. Yeah, I'm good. I'm just going to stay behind right over here. This looks like a good place to settle in. Sometimes I think maybe it's just we've had encountered spirits that have just been really attached to a certain item or house. Because you think about it, back in the day, the only thing that would often make someone was to be land wealthy. Your land sustained you most of the time, way back in the day especially. I mean, you had your cattle, you had your crops. It's not like you could just heat the house. You had to go cut wood. You might have been, your children may have been born on the land. You might have died on the land. You're buried on the land. At the end of it all, you're not going to let it go that easily. So I think there's just a lot of reasons as to why a spirit could potentially stay behind. There were many grounded spirits here, and, just cleared the house basically and said, just do what you have to do. You're welcome to come back, but not with all your baggage. And that usually means going to your next level. And a lot of them stayed away and a lot of them came back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's I love that. That's interesting. And we've also talked on here about soul splitting and about that maybe part of it can residual be sort of left behind. I know there's so many theories on this. This is why I love this stuff, because you don't know, and can you actually get real questions when you talk to some of these spirits that actually say why they're there? I don't know.
Well, in our case,
not
yeah,
just you, Mitchell, but
yeah. I say yes, you can. I mean, the spirits here have even told us where there have been missing doors that have been walled up from people making apartments and things like that we've gone on. The walls here are 3 feet thick. It's not as easy of a task as one would think to find them, especially when they're all plaster and lath. So I think they could be definitely very communicative. And I'm sure everybody else has their own
Where's
stories.
the money? Ask them where the money is. Where's the money? I want buried treasure. I want buried treasure. I want lottery numbers. Whoa.
Yeah.
They fucking put these speed bumps in 3 feet high around them. My God. Anyway.
Yeah, I always want to know where the lottery numbers is. Only one person ever got close. That was Tuesday Miles. I got to give her credit. She told me what machine to go play, and it was going to hit big. And sure enough, that damn thing. Same machine.
Wait. Numbers are coming through right now, Joe. I'm feeling a 6 and another 6.
I'm a 6. But that's a good friend of mine's phone number is 666-6667. That's their phone.
Let's call him right now.
No, we're not calling right now because you get your ass kicked.
Well, I mean, you put it on the radio. It's not like
I know, right?
No. They would not be a happy camper about being on the radio. Because trust me, I've tried to get on the radio before. They're not.
What's the area code? 666.
Now, they talk better conspiracy than Laura Lee does, but still, they won't get on the radio.
Conspiracy. I talk about it. You can find this. Hi.
You know I love you, Laura.
Joe, you're gonna get locked in a cage if you don't knock for me.
No, man, they put me in new cages, man. No, I'm uncageable. It's a cage would just melt around me. It's what who Scott?
And watch yourself.
You may have to get in a cage with Del because I couldn't hear what you said, but watch yourself. That's all I got out of that. I'm watching myself. Looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Yeah, okay, we're gonna look good. No, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. We're definitely not talking about the color of my beard. Moving on to that. Yeah, the ghost did that. I seen a ghost in my house today. See, it was black 2 days ago, and I seen this ghost, and look what color it is. I'm like, shit. I was like, whoa! And then I realized it was Fiona.
Yeah. You know what I want to try? There's a lot of videos out there with TikTok. There's that filter that's supposed to just put like this hazy wave right at the moment. I can't remember. It starts.
Oh my God! No more coffee for Laura Lee. She's cut off. You're cut off, Gary.
I'll pick up paranormal, and it'll show up on live video. It's like this TV feature. It picks up human shapes and stuff. It's really interesting.
You know, I did think about getting one of those Aurora cameras, and one night when we were all on, just letting it filter whoever's on the panel, just letting them filter their live images through the camera. I don't know how. I'd have to see how I could filter it back without blowing something up or burning something up, but I'm sure we can figure out. Oh, and people, I wouldn't look for it tonight, but it's UFOs, gods, and extraterrestrials. Just a couple of days, you can start looking for that page. It'll be containing a lot of our YouTube material. Well, what we still have access to, we don't. I don't know how the YouTube thing on United Public is going to pan out, so we'll have to wait and see how that's going to go. But I do tell you this: I did hire a lawyer because they pissed me off. How that's going to play out, we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, enough about that. I'm actually not as mad about being kicked off as I don't have access to the content on this page. So I don't know. I didn't see on the law. I don't see how they can keep me from accessing my own content. So that and when I talked to the lawyer about it, he was like, "Excuse me, they're doing what? No, they can't do that." I was like, "Well, yeah, you can do it." So we'll see where all of that goes. But anyway, enough about all that. You know, what you can do to global giants. We'll talk about that. We'll do it. You know, maybe this Friday we'll do a conspiracy show just on YouTube conspiracies.
Love it.
That should be a good show just by itself. Darren, no, what do you mean? Who's seen what ghost? Everybody on this panel seen a ghost. So make either ask an outright question or a specific question.
Or pictures. We all have and
have. Oh, okay. Well, this will only apply to a couple of. I have actually seen a ghost. I've actually seen a ghost, and what I would think would be an extraterrestrial in St. Augustine, Florida. I most certainly have. St. Augustine has got to be one of the most haunted cities in the country. The place is crawling with creepy, weird, ghosty, demon things, haunted children. It is. I know Seraphine's been down there, so the place is just creepy. It's just every time I go down there.
Great city.
Plus, the street is like 6 foot wide. They got these big high things on the side of it, and everything's channeled through these little Spanish streets. That's some of the
colony. Old.
Well, it is old.
Old Spanish. Yeah,
it's the oldest city in the United States. But anybody who's been there will tell you it's a creepy little place to go hang out. It's a lot of fun too. Don't get me wrong; it's a beautiful city. It's got a lot of historic stuff, beautiful beach and water right there, so you can go hang out and get in the harbor and stuff. Jackson's not very far away. Matter of fact, you're on the East Coast. There's quite a few places you can go. Blunt Island's down there. That's where we get that picture of that portal over that electric plant down there. So there's lots of cool places, but as far as ghosty goes, yeah, it's haunted like all hell. And I was talking with a group the other day about an old fort down here in Spanish Fort. It's just a creepy old in the Wrigley's Pass. This thing is old, and it's probably been buried by hurricanes. God knows how many people died in it just from malaria alone. The place, anytime you go out there, you see. When we used to go out late at night, we were out there going UFO hunting, actually. When we ran across this place, and we used to have a parking lot where a boat launch was. So we'd park in there. There was no lights or anything, so it was beautiful. But you'd always see these weird, you would think they were like clouds. Like, in the daytime when you see a cloud pass over, it creates a shadow, right? Well, so I think maybe it was a moon shadow. No, there ain't no moon, there ain't no clouds. You kind of like, what the hell is this moving around out here? So after a while, we noticed that it didn't, as long as you didn't go inside the fort boundaries, it didn't seem to screw with you. So you could kind of sit and watch it while you were watching skies, which was creepy. And there's lots of phone calls, recorded calls between me and somebody else talking about that and other things that were going on. But if you got inside the boundaries of the fort, they would screw with you. They would run through you and push you, scratch you, holler at you. At nighttime, they figured you had no business being inside those boundaries, and push you in the water with alligators.
So it's like a wife. You know what you're saying? Marriage. Something like that.
It's
Some people like to be scratched. Some people like to be scratched a little bit, man. I'm just saying, Joe.
No, not like that, buddy. And nobody wants to be pushed in the water with the alligators at 2:00 in the morning. That for most people that's scary enough, especially if you're not local and not realizing alligators not going to eat you.
Well, that's why you then live on Long Island where there's no alligators, man.
It was not just the alligators.
Oh no, I heard they pulled a big old alligator. A lot of snakes. I heard they pulled a big old alligator out of the sewage up there in New York, 11-footer, just down there eating rats.
It was dead.
Still, he was up there, man. He's 11 foot. That's a big alligator.
It was all white, because it was devoid of no sunshine. It was down in the sewer, man.
But they have albino alligators. Those are a real thing, actually.
My friend's dad is the one who
posted that on Facebook just now. I would be more worried about the snapper turtles, the moccasins, and the diamondback rattlers than I would be the alligators. Oh, and the black widows and the brown recruits. I'd be far more worried about them than I would be the alligators. Because as long as you're making a lot of noise,
I'm more worried about people than any of that.
Yes, and you should be. Let me tell you what. If you're back in the swamp at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and there's other people back there with you, you should be worried. Because you want to know what the hell they doing back there. And a lot of times it ain't nothing.
Over 400 shootings in New York last. You know that? Over 400 shootings in New York last week.
And how many of them made ghosts? Now that's a good segue. How many of them 400 are going to be ghosts walking around the streets of New York scaring the crap out of tourists? I wonder because it happens in New Orleans. There's a lot of killings in New Orleans. Usually it's gang violence, or drug violence, but still, there's a lot in the city, in the outside boundaries. So that's what I'm saying. See, for us it's like 1 a day. For y'all, it's probably like 3 a day. Chicago is probably like 5 a day. But some of these have got to be angry. Some of them must have. I always wonder about that because New York's a big city. New York's, so you're losing how many people a day? We'll just say 1 a day, 365 a year, 36,000 every couple of decades, about a decade or so. So here we go. Now, New York is 300 years old, almost 300 years old. You're talking, just these kind of deaths, 400,000 people, not including just people normally dying for whatever, just millions and millions. But yet there only seems to be a handful of ghosts. Well, a handful is not a correct way of saying it, but I mean, per capita against the population, there seems not to be. Or either that or most people are just ignorant and just never notice them, which could be just as well as possible. Who are we going to start with? Laura Lee seems to be sleeping, so we're going to start with her.
Ben, what's up? Okay.
Oh, look, see, just slap her. What'd I tell y'all? Well, she busted, Dell. You need to go smack her around. We busted her outright.
My guest canceled at the last minute for tonight.
That's right. I forgot you got to get your show straight.
Okay, so you want to know about ghosts and stuff like that?
I want to know why there's so few ghosts for so many people. How many people have died in the last?
Well, that's very easy.
In the last 6,000 years, what, 1 billion, 2 billion, 3 billion?
And I think Michelle already answered this, but in my opinion,
she'll torture me in a little while.
That understand as they pass through, they realize, they decide to cross over, and they go. There are people that stay here for various reasons, like Michelle mentioned. They may not realize they're dead. They may have died really quickly, but I find a lot that I encounter, they're staying for various reasons, whether it's revenge, whether it's just because they love the place they lived in and they don't want to leave, or fear. If you've committed, say, suicide, and religious police have you believe you've done something in life that you pay for in the afterlife, they're afraid, so it could be fear. There's lots of reasons, but lots of people cross over and
I agree, lots, 50%, 60%, 70%.
And again, I'm going to reiterate what Michelle said, that I don't think we're going to have all the answers until we transition back home ourselves. That's why I started studying near-death experiences, though, about 40 years ago, because the majority of the stories, even people that were atheists, have come out and explained their experience and what's happened. And most of them seem to have some kind of ability unlocked that they possessed before. And it's fascinating that there's very many similarities, but there's also differences. So there you go. I think that a lot of people get it when they cross over.
You kind of reminded me of Joe Biden there, right? I'm just saying, you kind of sounded like Joe Biden.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
You know that. No, you know what? As we do in death, and people have the choice to stay if they wish. That they're not going to worry about the implications. We have a choice.
So wait, let's get these choices straight here. So we can go to the other place and get toasty roasted, or we go to the cool place and battle stand and squid all day long. I mean, if they just mention the way of choices here, let's be honest about it.
It's free will.
We have choice.
And then what? Purgatory? This is Earth, so this is probably purgatory here. I'm thinking, man, this doesn't seem to be no way out. I don't have to go and talk to the aliens. Screw this. And now I see why people are going with the aliens.
Simple choice. We have a choice.
Some of us may have a choice. You bad people don't have a choice. The ones that got to live in a cage probably are going to the other place pretty quick, man.
With him, no way he's going to the other place. Because I'm not going there.
They said they got you. What do you mean? Oh no, they already said all Canadians are going to hell no matter what. So it doesn't matter. You're going to hell no matter what. Yeah, something about something that went on in the early days up there. Y'all were damned. They all burn in hell. So I'm fine. Canadians. I'm sorry. It's not my rules. I didn't make this up. Some Indian squawk thing king y'all killed up there. Cursed y'all. So if I was y'all, I'd move to the United States so you don't go to hell.
Then we'll take you with us.
No. I'm telling you, I'm going off world. I'm not going to either place. They just don't sound like good choices to me. Just saying ahead of time. There must be better choices than these current choices that we have. Jeffrey, what's that? Oh no, United Paranormal's gone, so I don't even bother to look for it anymore. Well, I don't know. I can't say forever, but we'll just say it's for now. It's gone, so there's no even reason to worry about it. Yeah, you can go to UFO Paranormal, and we will have a new one up. It's actually up. We just haven't linked it to anything yet or put anything on it yet. Pretty soon we'll start feeding archives and stuff like that, live shows too. It'll make it easier to find once we start dumping material into it. Yeah, just will be a new page. Yeah. Well, YouTube thought it's one thing. You need to keep at least 3 of them bitches on here, at least. What do you mean? Oh, now that would be a good idea. I think we should wrangle up some of the nastiest, meanest ghosts we know of, get them all in a little pile, and send them to the head of Google.
Yes.
Wait, head of Google's YouTube. Yeah, I mean Google owns YouTube, so yeah, I say send it to them. Look, hey Dean, let's go for it.
Or boycott them.
Yes.
One question is, what do you guys think about the Guff? The Otsar, right? Where it's just the chamber of souls that are there that are waiting to be birthed into this reality. So how would you think that would go into the whole part about souls sticking around and souls waiting to be born?
You mean the Hall of Souls?
Well,
yeah,
that's what the Goth is, right? The Hall of Souls.
Is that what they're waiting for?
Yeah.
The Guff?
The Goth, that's the Hall of Souls, right? That's what it is. That's where all the new souls come from.
Limbo. They're limbo.
So they're just sitting there until they're born, and then once it's out, we're dead, right? Isn't that what happens once the Goth runs out? Everybody dies. Well, all the ones that are going into the great.
But then you have souls that want to hang around, waiting for souls to come down, right? It would be sort of like a little bit of a traffic jam.
See, I would think that, but I would think it had to be some kind of organization up there. Said, no, what the hell are you doing? Get out of here! You're going. Goodbye.
Air
Goodbye.
traffic controller for
souls. You're blocking the tunnel. Move along. No, wait, stop. Hey, don't get sassy. I can put you on the escalator going to hell. Get your ass moving. I'm just saying, man, it could be rough. But Laura Lee's like, no, I ain't getting on no escalators now. Laura Lee said, I'm not getting any escalators.
You know what it is, though? Like, yes, we're going to have new souls, and I know we've all people, but that are a newer soul have certain characteristics to whom they are. And correct me if I'm wrong, but we've all run into them.
Every now and then I run into a new soul. For the most part, I try to stay away. The only downside to old souls is they are awful egotistical. But other than that, there's a lot of other advantages. It's just, there are some egotistical parts.
Like, when you meet an old soul, you meet an old soul. They've got a lot of wisdom, a lot of confidence. They usually seem to have a lot more on their plate, even in life. They have that feeling about them. But yes, and again, I don't think it's any fault of their own. It's just they're new. Yeah, a lot of arrogance, a lot of naivety.
They're just trying to get through so they can
Say
get
it
the
3
Valhalla.
times, Laurie.
Let's see. Seraphina going to Valhalla.
Life, they just like.
I'm here.
Laura Lee's going to Eden.
I think you get new souls a lot.
Michael's going to be Beelzebub's neighbor.
That like
along with Michelle. Michelle going to be over there decorating Satan's house. By the way, just in case y'all didn't know that.
Yes, I'm taking you all with me.
Oh, not me. I told you. I'm going to be. Mike, you're breaking, baby. You're breaking up for something. You were coming in clear a minute ago. I don't know what happened. You're breaking up.
What?
You were coming in clear a minute ago.
Well, I'm going to say that
driving.
It's weird.
Just sitting there on my ass. Ain't just sitting there in Canada, locked up. I can drive around. I'm free. I don't even have a mask on. Ooh, watch out for this wild turkey.
Let's not get into
that. Ah, you dumb fucker. Yo, there was a turkey running in front of my.
What?
Get out of the road, Dolby.
All right, now you're breaking my ear up. I'm fixing to mute you.
I was just thinking about the wild turkey, and all of a sudden it was there. Whoa, dear.
All right. Okay, who am I getting? Oh, it is his car I'm getting feedback from. All right. I couldn't take it. It's making me crazy. Michael, turn your volume down or something. I can hear myself. It's making me nuts. Okay.
You're already crazy.
I am crazy. I've been crazy for a long time. I came back to sanity for a little while and realized it was completely and overrated, so I went back to being it. So I got to mute you though again. You come through the speaker again. Okay. Sorry about that. Turn your speaker off or something. Yeah, it's his car phone. I know what it is. I can hear it coming through. Now, where the hell was I before I got distracted by evil aliens?
You got a Dolly. I think I want to say her name properly. She's made some interesting comments. She says Dolly Saffron. She says she agreed with you about.
Okay, very good.
I guess St. Augustine and stuff.
It's a creepy, weird, haunted place. Is all I can tell y'all. If you're down there, I would check it out. If you got the time to go hang out in St. Augustine for a couple of days, even a week. They got a few B&Bs down there that you can go in, some decent bread and breakfasts to hang out there. So there's a couple of places you can get in. There's a couple of different kind of inns there too. So yeah, well, they do have the kind. You can go where the people live there, and you just get the room, and then you get the ones that are just you yourself. And yes, because some people don't like sharing bathrooms and stuff with breakfasts and stuff like that. So I've stayed all over the people. I don't really mind. I like, as long as it's a nice place, I'm usually generally happy.
There's great pictures from there and stuff and stories. Like ever since I've known her, that's your favorite place, right?
Yeah, I'll be going back there. I'll be doing some lives from St. Augustine next month, which is in a week.
Yeah.
That's true already.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice out here, and the weather's great down here right now. So it's not
one of my favorite spots.
Yeah, I like going out myself. Unfortunately for me now, I think it's not as long as a drive it used to be. I think it's 8 hours now. It used to be about 10.
It's 6 for me.
And it's still yeah. See, that's Atlanta for me, 6 hours. Shoot, DC's about 12. It's one of the nice things about being on the East Coast, though. You can get all over a lot of places. Matter of fact, we were in East Hill, Pensacola yesterday looking at a piece of property. Cutesy little house, man. I mean, I would buy it, but then nobody could come live with me. Oh, shit, wouldn't that be a novel idea? I'm sorry, did I say that on the air, Dan?
That'd be incentive right there.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, we are doing looking stuff. It's, and first thing I see when I look at the house is it haunted. It's 98 years old. Like most of the homes in this particular neighborhood, East Hill, which is a really nice upscale neighborhood. It's but it's like an artiste community, And they get those little book boxes every quarter block. There's a little box with a bunch of books and a little glass, and everybody's swapping books. Everybody's out there with their little doggies and their little kids and drawing or listening to music. And it's really nice. It'd be a nice little laid back place to live. Of course, I'd probably go nuts and shoot the place up, but still, uh, I don't know if I could be that calm. So,
Here's an interesting thing there. It says, have you, any of you out there heard about somebody trapping spirits and using them for their own whatever stuff there? Whether or not, like, you have a massage parlor and you trapped a whole bunch of masseuses there to go and give ghost massages or something like that, or that's being off the wall. But is there I've heard seen in movies where people have whether or not this is theory true or not or whatever, when people die, to go and trap a spirit and then use it for their own nefarious means. Have you come across any things like that or stories?
of course, some necromancers down here that use stuff like that. But and people want to try to trap spirits. I've seen people try to trap spirits and put them in dead bodies, which of course makes zombies or Walking Dead. I'm coming for you, Libby. But anyway, you see weird stuff. But one of the things they used to like to do down here to tourists was use the soul to capture the individual for the evening. And then when the soul came out, the person would just have no memory of anything that just happened for however long, usually 24 hours. So I've heard about things like that from time to time, but but then you got to wonder how they control those ghosties or those demons or those just some type of entity that they have some kind of working relationship with, or something that somebody else controls, either someone here on Earth or somewhere else. It's just because it's a pretty sophisticated level of takeover for anything to take you over 24 hours. And I can understand, if the person's loaded on drugs or alcohol, it does make it easier because the will's not as strong. But still, a decently strong-willed person, I would think, should be able to swat that off, unless the demon or whatever, I don't want to call it a demon because it might not be that, but whatever it was pretty strong. You might be able to get in there.
Well, we heard a lot of stuff about people using black magic and trying to capture people's souls. We've heard of demon deals, or the Robert Jordan selling his soul at the crossroads and stuff like that. So I was just wondering if anybody of you out there in their investigations come across something that was like a trapped soul.
That claimed to do this with Jen. I don't think most people know what they're doing, and it was eBay, a whole section about gin and what to look for and who was doing this. This wasn't to be taken lightly. So I've heard of it in other things as well, what Joe mentioned and other scenarios, but that seems to be a thing, especially with gin from the Middle East. And I don't think it's something to be messed with or played with. That's for sure. I don't know what your thoughts are, guys, but
I've come across spirits who, when you communicate with them and you're asking, why they're stuck, because there's no reason for them not to move on. They want to move on. They have family waiting for them. And there have been a couple of incidences, one specifically where the spirit said, when asking, he said, he won't let me. And I'm like, who won't let you? And the spirit says, him. And then you sort of, move the energy around. You're like, oh. And I remember specifically saying, I said, did you sell out? For any particular reason? And he went, yes, ma'am. I went, oh, I see. So then it comes the act of separating the stronger, more malevolent entity out of play, and then being able to push the human spirit forward, which is exactly what we did.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. I love that. But that comes to this whole thing about what is the soul, right? And what is the empowerment of a soul, and how does that something can manipulate that they can hold some sort of power over top of that. Now we're talking about some sort of extra dimensional, or not even extra dimensional, some sort of entity that has something that we don't even understand what a soul is as of yet. We haven't figured that out. besides it being your essence, I guess. Maybe it's I don't know. Did anybody describe what a soul is?
Well, I was going to add to the conversation before we moved on. That you'd also have to separate yourself from the fact that that person made a deal, whether it's cool or not, and how you're involving yourself in that. I'm just saying. From experience.
Oh yeah, we've come across many.
Yeah, some people with all their airy-fairy notions are real cute and everything until it comes down to it, and then you end up with a larger problem sometimes than what can actually happen.
This comes to a good thing there too, there, Seraphine. You should know a lot about this stuff there, because with the occult there, is that vampires, and I think we actually was a part onto the show title. Vampires are supposed to be soulless, but they can control souls.
I don't know if vampires are supposed to be soulless. They're just supposed to be dead. I don't know if they actually lost their soul. They're just supposed to be the living dead is what they're supposed to be. I don't know if, and I don't even know per se if soul is actually what gives us life, or if it's just part of what's going on in our bodies. That's a whole, and then soul itself, man. I've heard from kind of plasma to other kind of energies to energies we just ain't never seen or understand. I don't know. We can get into a lot of different things there.
Yeah, and the vampire thing is a very several-fold answer question kind of situation. That could be a whole entire show.
Yeah, especially these vampires in New Orleans that just like to suck on you so they can get high and get drunk and party on, Garth.
Party on, Wayne.
That's it. I mean,
so they have no money.
Yeah, they don't need any money. They just grab you along the line, get a little blood, get a little snack with a little juice going on at the same time. And you wonder sometimes you see these vampires, these pale white people walking through the corner. Like, you think they just all gothed up, but a lot of times they're just vampires all loaded up. You're like, yeah, vampires, stay your ass over there.
So vampires like crappy American beer?
No, they like people don't really drink beer on Bourbon Street. Yeah, well,
have you been to Bourbon Street, Del?
Yeah, they don't do a lot of beer drinking on Bourbon, my friend. They do a lot of liquor drinking. There's a lot of liquor drinking going on Bourbon Street. Beer just isn't strong enough for the people who are coming down here. They're coming down here to get ripped. They don't want to remember anything. They just remember they were in New Orleans and had a good time. That's all they want to remember.
Even the homeless people aren't drinking beer.
Yeah, that's true. They drink it. Sometimes they drink it Chevis and stuff like that. They get the good stuff. It's funny, but it's not a. If you go outside the city, it's a big beer drinking area. But if you're in the city itself, nah, not really. They're drinking liquor. Or they'll drink wine to an extent, but they like their liquor and they like their mixed drinks. And then things like Hurricanes, which are like 160 proof, or one of my personal favorites, which is a 57 Chevy with stolen plates. That is a fabulous drink, and it will get you ripped out of your mind. God,
it will
not. I'm telling you now, people, it will. Whatever you do not order mint julep. Even I was like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah.
So this was $1.90 with a piece of mint leaf in it, and they just swirled the mint leaf around $1.90 and said, "Here you go." I was like, "Hey, dude, this is not mint julep." He said, "No, that's what it is." I'm like, "You sure?" She's like, "It tasted. I mean, the mint liquor tasted great." You ever drink $1.90? I used to drink it with. I used to get White Russian daiquiris with 2 shots of $1.90 because the daiquiris were like this big. Yeah, so you have one drink for the whole evening. Just sipping along, having a good old time. And the daiquiris are made out of 151 to start off with. So. Oh, yes, people. I told you they like to drink in New Orleans. There are a bunch of alcoholics down here. Not me. I'm good. I don't drink. I don't do none of that stuff. I didn't go to the quarter because I might see somebody naked by accident. Yeah.
By accident.
By accident. Hey, a lot of naked people in the quarter. What can I say? When I was a kid, it was different. You'd walk by the bars or drive through, like my dad used to like to drive through, and you'd see women swinging on swings, boobs and butts flying in the air, ghosties running out underneath them and stuff. And it's not like it's weird because like Steve and I got a contract to put in Big Daddy's camera system in all of his inside part of his building, so he could keep an eye on his girls. That's what it was for, because he had an apartment complex behind the strip joint. So anyway, we in there sitting there, man. Equipment would move. You'd hear shit banging on walls, things. You're like, what the hell's going on in this place? And we were in his studio in his bedroom, and he had one of these big round beds that would spin around, and we had put had cameras pointing down, but we had TV monitors on the ceiling so you could monitor all the restaurant while he's in all the restaurant and the club and the bar and everybody else and all the things in between while he's in his room with whoever. And man, you'd get up there and you'd hear, not here. And you're like, what the hell? Steve's like, what did you say there? I didn't say anything. And then you'd go to move, not here. And I'm like, what the hell, not here? What do you start with the not here shit, man? We had an argument about it twice. And he said, yeah, I'm not telling you not here. Did we already agree to how we were setting the system up before we even got here, which was true. We did. And I don't know. It was a creepy, but exhilarating place is all I can say. It was a very strange kind of place. And I used to ask the girls about it all the time if the place was haunted. They were like, yeah, it's haunted.
Hey, Joe, New Orleans is supposed to be a pretty rowdy place and stuff like that, where they do see a lot of spirits and stuff like that. Have you ever come across naked spirits?
Yeah.
Running down
Actually, there's a place they tell you today you can go see them. They well, in the early days, a lot of the black slaves were naked. When they put them on auction, they were stripped down, no clothes. So there was actually literally hundreds of them. So if you're in like Pirates Harbor or Pirates Alley, there's a little alley between the cathedral and some of the businesses, and that's where they used to sell the slaves. The other alley, the other one next over, is where they used to hang the slaves. So there's lots of weird stuff went up on in there. And then while all that's going on, the pieces in between is where the ladies in their big belly gowns used to come walking through. They come review the slaves and do whatever, go down to the club, have a drink, have lunch. It was a can only say it had to be a unique scene back in the day. Between death, blood, gore, and beauty, all wrapped up in a rolling, spinning, alcoholic, cocaine-winded thing going on. It's and remember, they had pirates like Gene Lafitte who hung out here regularly, along with all of his crew and his friends, and not just them. There were a lot of others, a lot of people left over from the wars that hung out down here. Because New Orleans was a great place to hang out. A lot of the riverboat people came down here to gamble. It still is. It's like a mini America because it's a melting pot. It's not it's not really dominated by any one culture. They're all just kind of squished together. And when you hear say Creole food, that's what we mean. We mean all the cultures' foods kind of squished together, made into what us Coonasses call Creole, or in my case, a Couillon. I'm not a true Coonass. I'm a Couillon, but close enough. I'm a Couillon, man. Y'all don't even want to know what that means. Don't even worry, people. Don't even ask what it means. That's something y'all need to know. Unless you're a local, you don't need to know what it means. As far as the Coonass thing goes, that's anybody who lives outside the city that speaks that Couillon language.
You had me in French on Friday night.
Yeah, hey, man, because these people don't speak no proper French down here. They speak their Couillon French. They speak Acadian French is what they speak. So them freaking crazies up there in Canada and Canada understand what these Coonasses are saying down here. But nobody else does. If anybody else speaks regular French, they don't know what the hell they're saying. They're like, what? That's not French. It's French, man. No, it's not. Yes, it is. I had 2 years of French. That's not French. Oh, no. It used to crack me up with that shit. And they all got these weird, but talk about tell you ghost stories. All of them. Every Creole you ever meet, they got hundreds of ghosts. From the lady floating down the swamp to help. They had one lady, she used to be in a blue dress, so she must have fell in the bayou at a high school ball or something, drowned in her dress. And they say she comes floating down. When she floats down, it pushes all the fish and crabs and even the gators into you so you can scoop them out with nets. I'm like, really? Well, I want to meet this chick. She sounds like she's a happy ghost. She don't sound, nobody's ever said she did anything harm him or scare him or anything. Scared because he looks creepy floating on top of the bayou, which is probably just some kind of weird blue swamp gas out there, but I don't know. I've seen some creepy shit in the swamp that I have still to this day don't know what it was. And you do see swamp gas sometimes, and it's weird because it'll be like blue or green or pink or orange, and it kind of oozes and squeezes and squishes between the trees. It looks like some kind of ghosty moving its way through the trees. It's just the breeze and the way it's pushing the sides of the trees, kind of squishing and moving around. But if you don't know better, man, one of the dead giveaways, ladies and gentlemen, if you're ever in one of these situations, if you smell this it's just weird odor. It's not like natural gas smells. Most people don't realize, but natural gas, that smell is actually put in there for you to smell. Natural gas is actually odorless. They put that in there for you to smell.
Rotten eggs.
So you'll instantly know there's a problem. So in this case, this is it's a weird smell. So, but it's not. You don't, when you smell it, you don't even want to light a cigarette. You just got this sense that no, bad idea. But you do see things out there. Honey Island Swamp is loaded full of ghosties, man. The little kids that go ring around the damn big oak, the 300-year oak tree. They see them out there doing that all the time. Somebody tried to remove them, couldn't get them to leave. And then they say there's kids that run up and down in Monkey Hill and City Park. City Park's got all kind of ghosties in it. They used to do a lot of City and Armor Park. They used to do a lot of duels there back in the day. And the duel in Oaks is still there even today, where they used to go and eat the oaks. The oaks are massive 400-year-old oaks. And they got these branches that sweep around and sweep down the ground. And there's just a little hole cut in them. So you can go in there and get dressed and get all your equipment together and go out and have your duel in the middle of City Park while the ladies are strolling down with their men or on their horses or walking or buggy carting or whatever. There's two guys out there trying to kill each other for sport, really. And everybody else is watching. It's a strange place to live. It's a different place to live, that's for sure.
I got a question for Michelle there. Is because you live in a haunted house. Have you had any of your ghost spirits there in your place there be upset that you've brought something into the house that they didn't like or changed around your furniture?
I've never really had anything get upset with me. Usually they will alarm me if something comes in the house that doesn't belong here. The lady of the house will bring it forward right away. They don't really move around the furniture per se, but they do move around items. Things will go missing or get misplaced. Then we'll just ask for them to return them, and usually they will. But again, is it that they're moving the actual item, or is it maybe the theory of veiling? Are they putting something over the item so you just can't see it? Mm-hmm. Right. And then you're like, I want it back. And then they just remove that veil. There's a lot of theories with that, but things seem to turn up. So however they do it, it's appreciated. Putting that out there right now, in case anybody's listening. Don't touch my shit. It's kind of like that.
Keep your fingers to yourself there.
Yeah. A little weird like that, but it's a good arrangement.
That's what I was saying. That like Laura and I call it the Gremlin that's around, or something like that plays little tricks and stuff like that. And we've had things like car key. Well, the car keys is a regular thing, but just even items like my iPhone cord, like it was put into a different box that should never even have been there, and like wow, like or stuff that's been moved around. Like we've noticed this many times in the old house that we were in, and in the new house, and notice some really sort of, they don't do anything that's malevolent, that's sort of hurting anybody.
No, it's just the little annoying things.
Yeah, just to say like, hey,
to inconvenience you or make you question your sanity.
That's why Lord built me this little guy here. This is the bully. He just goes around and says, "Hey, you want me to send this guy on you?"
From Amazon, they're actually spoons, and they're in super cool colors. They look like electric guitar. You have to touch the guitar.
No, he's cute though. Is that your little gremlin gnome?
Yeah, that's who's that? That's what his name is. Who's that? And so you go.
That's funny. No,
but no, it's just that's the weird thing is that you listen to a lot of people that have done relayed stories, and a lot of stuff is very negative or very hurtful or damaging to stuff, but you don't hear that many stories of a spirit or an entity being that it's actually beneficial, except for some little stories that you'll hear about, a lost child and a spirit brought it back so everybody could find it. But but usually with homes and businesses or land, it's always a nefarious or a dark entity, and it's never a good entity that's there that brings great things to crops and abundance, and everybody has great stories after it. You don't hear that too often.
It's not that they haven't been in here. We found for the longest time, we would say, that the house, he always said, the family must have had, we know they had several homes. So he used to think, they must just be gone to another home. But, I said, well, you need to start paying attention to when they're leaving or when the house gets quiet. And so when I've been here about, 8 years, off and on, and now steadily with the other house going up for sale. But we found that when they did leave and vacate the premises, it's when a darker energy was here, had come in. They were frightened of it and they left. And, again, the lady of the house seems to be one of the stronger spirits, and she would basically come in and try to forewarn, and then we just clear the house. But that's when we seem to start noticing a pattern. So, and I mean, Wayne definitely has talked about his own experience here. Or, I mean, he would call me if I was at the other house and say something's come in, and I would just remote view it, like tap in and then just clear it from this point. And then the house would be back to normal and the spirits would return. So I think it just took him a while to realize, like, oh, wait. So when the house feels quiet, I need to look for something else that's maybe running in the background. And that's, he started piecing it together.
I gotta say, you know what? I agree with you. Like, I've been thinking about this lately. I never thought in years I'd ever have a conversation with Del about fairies and elementals, but through his own experiences, he calls them gremlins or whatever, or like
elementals. Yeah.
Or with Wayne too, right? Like,
yeah,
pattern. And now you guys know it just takes some time, right?
Oh yeah, he was real familiar with gremlins. He used to have he used to own a motorcycle shop for a long time, and tools and stuff would go missing, and he would call them gremlins, and he'd say, "Okay, would you mind please putting that back? I'm going to be back in an hour, and it needs to be on this bench." And he got back in an hour, and it would be on the bench, and he's the only one in there. So, but with elementals, I mean, we work with elementals all the time, so we have a decent idea around them. But I only just learned how to work with them in the last 3 years. An elderly friend of mine who just does a lot of remote viewing and work like environmentally and with things like critters like whales and things like that. He's very, very gifted, elderly gentleman, and taught me how to work with ley lines and taught me how to work with elementals. So that's all pretty new for me also. Because I mean, I've seen elementals wreak havoc on properties and stuff. And once I had an understanding, thanks to him, how they actually worked and behaved, it became a lot easier. Now they're not a problem anymore.
You know what it reminds me of when you said that? And I mean, no disrespect to anybody listening at your house. It reminds me of a toddler, right? Like when you've got kids and they're quiet, that's when you know, something's going on. I need to go look.
It's true. It's pretty much like that, or when you're on the phone. How many times have I been on air and you hear all this stuff going on, and I'm just sitting there, and you see me go, looking around like, stop. I got the whole mental vibes going and throwing daggers, and yet I'm the only one here.
That got me that night. And then I don't see it tonight, haven't seen it, but that night you had a bit of a shadow kind of in behind your right thing, and there was no batteries. You kept saying, you could tell by your face, there's no batteries there, or you hadn't wound it. You said that.
Yeah, it was an antique clock. It hadn't been wound in like 2 years. There's absolutely no reason for it to go off. Like, it just seems to be a lot of things like that happen here. It's like, okay, you get accustomed to it.
That's the magic of flow of energy that a lot of people sort of disprove or not disprove or disregard and stuff like that. And I can remember this. My aunt. My aunt was a nurse, or still is a nurse, still alive, anyways. But just her body chemistry and what it is that she has a huge magnetism, so you can't even give her an analog watch or a digital watch. She will screw it up just because of what her body is, how it's made up of, and you go, well, that's not true. This is not. I can give her a watch or a phone or something like that, and your phone will be ruined in an hour if it's in contact with her, and it's really
it happens. That does happen.
And people disregard thinking that there's like. That's the thing, is that everybody is made up, and their energy, however they go out there, however it's built when they're born and stuff like that, or how they procure it as they grow, that they can have an effect so much on some things that are so benign and similar, like an analog watch.
You said about teenage girl. I was just going to add to that, Del. I remember Michelle saying many times, especially teenage girls going through puberty, right? And but they're powerful. Well, all teens, but especially you said, right?
Women going through menopause also, or if you're going through a tremendous amount of stress, there's just something with your energy. I mean, let's face it, we are essentially energy.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
So I think manipulating energy for many, it's quite simple.
Mm-hmm.
Telekinesis, psychokinesis. I mean, you can project a lot of that. So it's definitely possible to manipulate a lot of that stuff, you know. But I always get asked, people always ask me, what's it like to live in an actively haunted house? Not just, seeing the odd little thing or, a spirit's there. And, I mean, the house is very active. A lot of shows have filmed here, and they usually get results. But it's also the fact that we treat them very well. Okay, people are coming to see you. This is what's going to happen. Participate if you so choose. If you want to be sociable, if you don't, that's okay. None of it matters. I'm like, oh, God, that's interesting. Like they're curious about people.
Like you see, that makes me so angry when they go to an active place. Like, do this, do that, this. Would you talk to a normal person like that? No, they were one. And treat them, and like you said, you treat them with respect and love. And you know what? They in turn help you too. Like you said at the beginning, so they're so.
They do. Realistically speaking, none of the spirits here are stuck. So they're not grounded spirits. They come and go as they please. They're not even always here for the most part. They're here sometimes, and it's not like they say, hey, we're leaving. We never know 1 minute to the next whether they're here or not. Just all of a sudden things are going on. You hear walking around. You'll hear the sound of the front door opening and closing it. It doesn't. It's like another world is going on around us, and we're just very comfortable with it.
I remember this movie that I think has been mentioned before. It's called The Others. Was with Nicole Kidman.
That's a really good movie.
And until you figure out that at the end that it's actually that who is the ghost, and that you figure that they're the real ones, and
yeah, I know
this whole perception that goes on.
It was.
And then you put that into thinking yourself, going is that maybe this spirit or entity or ghost is here that hasn't moved on or whatever that we figure maybe we are the ghost to them.
Yeah, I've heard people in EVP say that someone's very disrespectful and says, how did you die? Or, you're dead. And you'll hear back. And I know you've said this too, Michelle. They'll say, no, you're dead.
That's happened to me when I was in Egypt, when I was in the pyramid. I pop up into this room and there's a spirit, and I'm trying to delicately explain that he's dead. And I'm going, huh? Like, how am I dressed? And then I went, I'm really trying to be delicate. And somehow it's where I realized that there isn't a language barrier per se, which is strange, but I don't know what, like, this was a long time ago. I don't know if the spirit was grounded or not, but basically it was just like, no, you're dead. And I'm like, okay, maybe I am. I don't even know anymore. It's the dimensional thing. But he communicated, which tells me there's intelligence there. It's not just residual or replay or anything like that. So I believe that.
And I agree with you. And Sarah and I have a friend that has been in the paranormal field for a while, and she actually wrote an article on that. A lot of people really, I find, especially when you're new to the paranormal, everything's so exciting, right? And like something is, witnessed it with your own eyes. I get it, but one article I love that she wrote was some things to consider when dealing with somebody on the other side. And we've talked about a lot of this. Like, for all we know, we're in this decrepit, falling apart building, and to them, what are they seeing? Maybe exactly like how it did when they were alive.
It's true. Some spirits also seem to be in different dimensions or levels, because I have investigated castles. I've been to different parts of the world, homes where there have been different levels of families who've passed on, going back from, let's say, the 1800s, from that time. Like, let's use this house for an example. Built in 1872. There have been a couple of deaths here in the house. But I mean, if somebody was on the land before that, let's say, who passed away, because it was really huge property at one time, so we don't know. But they don't necessarily see each other.
Right.
Even though they're in the same time, like they're in the same space, they're not necessarily in the same time, yet we seem to be able to communicate with them, but they don't ever see one another. I've seen a situation where there was a spirit mother looking for a spirit child, and but they've never ever acknowledged one another. Yet you're thinking, well, you're in the same space, how do you not? It's a time thing.
That
Yeah.
sense, and I've heard that before. How sad they really are separate.
They are, just depending on when they died, or this, they're both stuck. So how is it that they just don't seem to come together? It's very sad. So there's just a lot of theories out there. I think we just need to remind ourselves that they are just theories, because there is no real definitive. We can go based on writings, some of the teachings and writings that could be, hundreds of years old. Doesn't mean that it's, that would have been the perception of the person who wrote it. Even then, like, we don't really know. And I think until we actually get there ourselves in one form or another, there is nothing really definitive at that point.
But it is, like you said, you brought up some great points, but I think we try to apply, and you can understand why human concepts to something that is so vast and beyond, including the fact, and I think it goes with anything in life, once you get too comfortable and you think you've seen it all or you've known it all, you'll get knocked right on your butt. And it's like, nope, I didn't know anything about that. There's so much more to it, especially with this field, right?
It's true. And it's not just in the field. I think it's just people generalize. You look at different religions, for example. Like I have a friend who's just like really high up Luciferian, and people are just sort of like, oh, it's this and this and this. They have their own ideas of what they've been taught through their own religious backgrounds. But I'll tell you, man, the man makes more sense than anybody that I grew up listening to.
I agree.
And it's not bad. Like, people think, oh, you're just, worship the devil and stuff. It's like, what? I listen to him and the things that he says, and he's more enlightened than most people I know. And I'm just like,
I had someone contact me out of the blue. I saw 2 people contact me since they seen our episode on TV, and he knew instantly. They knew what they were talking about. He was one of them. I ended up, and he works with demons. He's a Lutheran stuff. He was so fascinating, and I said to him, I don't know if a couple of years ago I would have been open to this, but I'd love to have you on my show. And he came on. People, I swear to God, some of the comments were saying this guy needs to lecture at university and stuff, because he made so much sense.
Yes.
And mind-blowing. So I hear you. I agree with you, because people want to.
It's all a matter of interpretation. It depends how we were raised, and people, society on average, like I said, like, he's Luciferian, he's an occultist, really, really versed. He's just, oh, there's a little baby Fiona. But I think that's part of the problem, is that we have this idea of how things are supposed to be because maybe we've seen it on television, read a couple books. It's so far removed from that. Really, it is.
Have any of you there come across or even heard of something where they're talking to a ghost or a spirit, besides this channeling stuff, whatever, that is telling you what is actually going on and can describe, hey, there is demons and spirits, there is ETs, there is Bigfoot, there is dogmen, there is little people that are trickster spirits. Odin is real. Zeus was real. All these things. Has there been anybody that's legitimate that you could actually say that they were talking to something that was actually giving truth to stories of the past that have been discredited?
I can speak from experience, but somebody that I met over the years, one of the first people when I started researching this was that it's a website, show, whatever, it's called Channeling Eric, and her son committed suicide but is over, his name's on the other side. And again, I don't think we're ever going to be able to verify with 100% accuracy that yes, this is true, what have you, but with the depth of of information that the medium, because this woman uses me, one medium in particular I thought was really excellent, and there's a lot of evidential things that'll come up that you know research have you, but she received so much flack too, this woman, and she does it out of her own pocket. She never accepted money from people.
Hi, Fiona.
Hi, Fiona.
Sorry, hi, Fiona.
She got a lot of flack because she claimed to speak with celebrities on the other side with Eric. Now, can I say with 100% accuracy that she's right? No. I don't know. What do you know?
Sorry, guys. She wanted to come steal the show for a few minutes.
Oh, she's so
She's
cute.
gotten to be a ham now. She knows what time I'm on air, and she knows what days I'm on air. I guess because my ass is sitting in the seat for too long. She's like, let's go see. Now she's a bona fide ghoster and mouser. So first, one night she's running up through my house. I'm like, what the hell is my dog doing? She's flying out, sliding, things barking ground. So I get up. Sure enough, she got a pretty little field mouse cornered in the corner. And I'm like, don't eat it, Fiona. She's like, 9 months at the top. So I pick it up, I grab it. So a couple weeks later, she's doing it again. I'm like, oh shit, we got another mouse. I'm looking all over my house trying to figure out how to get in. So I get her. She's in my son's room. She's just like, man, hair all hunched all the way down, her back legs hunched down. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you? Ain't nothing. Nothing that I could see anyway. She's like, she was, whatever it was, she was fierce. And the closer I got to it, the more fierce she got, because she gets braver the closer Daddy gets. So, as far as Daddy's away, the less brave she is. But when Dad's right there, she's a vicious animal.
Yeah.
And I still, and I'm like, Fiona, what are you doing? And then a couple weeks ago, she's ground storming. And I'm like, what are you growling at? Spider going up my wall. She'd had enough of it. She's like,
I'd be growling at that too.
So I went to kill the spider. So then the next week, I'm sitting there, we're sitting on the porch, and she's just growling away, running around crazy. I was like, oh, she done seen another ghost. No, she done found a possum wanting to eat my house. She's like wanting to jump. I'm like, Fiona, possum's twice your size, stupid. Nope.
No, they're harmless too.
So, now I never know, because like the other night, she likes to get on the edge of my bed and look down the hallway. She's seeing something. I don't know what it is. We got some weird stuff. I was telling Michelle the other day, like the face of my clock was pulled apart and set on the floor. I mean, it was actually set and then set down. You could actually see where the screws were backed out, so it could be taken apart and then set on my floor. I was like, the plan in the living room. My wife was like, what? So he's turned it all the way around. Just stupid shit. Nothing. It seems to be vicious. They ain't blew up no computers or anything along that line, unless everyone's got it kicked off of YouTube.
Have you seen what happened to the YouTube page, Joe?
I'm just saying, other than if they got thrown off the YouTube page.
I don't know.
They blew the shit out of that YouTube. Man, I was like, I got that letter. I was like, you got to be kidding me, right? I wrote it back, and I told them what happened, and they're like, man, they didn't care. So I was like, okay. I said, well, I want access to the page. I said, because we got material that's only there. Oh, I said, well, let me tell you this. I said, if you deleted the page, and I said, I'm telling you in the letter officially, I said, if you deleted the page and we cannot retrieve the over 5,000 videos that are there, I said, they're going to be a major lawsuit. And I said, you know what? I'm pretty sure this will go class action. I said, because you can't just be going deleting people's material. I said, you want to block us from serving on your server, that's fine. But you should still have to give us access to get our material now, especially since it's a paid account to start off with. And they still have not responded to me. That's why I called the lawyer. I said, look. I said, you got to see, And so he said,
no, I'd jump on board that lawsuit. Are you kidding?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's not just us. I mean, there's so many people that have lost just countless hours of material now. And yeah, a lot of it, granted, we do have, but a lot of it we don't. So, I mean, it's a bitch. All the archives we had, it's fine. But I guarantee you it costs us half our videos because we keep them on video sites because it costs too much, to keep them on regular service. We'll see. Anyway, people, if you listen to me bitch about YouTube, you know why. But you can find us on UFO Paranormal Radio, and you can find us on UFOs Guides and Extraterrestrials. We're gonna actually load up one more besides that too, so we have 3 pages. But it is actually, we'll start broadcasting live. I applied for YouTube just a little while ago while they were talking. We applied through StreamYard to apply for live streaming. So by tomorrow, the next day, it should also be streaming live. So y'all can catch it in the archives. We'll start shifting over there for a couple of weeks until the other UFO page catches up. Yeah, we ain't getting into that either. It's not for this. We may do just a show of stupidity one night, but not tonight.
I'm down for a stupidity show.
So that will actually be called a station meeting. Is what that will be called. If you watch it, that's what that'll be called. But anyway, so y'all can find this. The page is up. I doubt it's showing because there's nothing on it. I haven't even. And I'm gonna tell you though, if you want to know what pissed me off the worst about YouTube, I'll be honest with y'all. It wasn't the fact that we lost 5,000 archives, which hurt, or how many of hundreds of thousands of plays it was across all those 3 years. That probably hurt too. But all my playlists were there. All my driving play. I am so pissed, man. One of them had like 4,000 songs on. One had like 400. They just wild for like moods. I had Indian there for watching sunsets. So I think we recorded. That just pissed me off. And I didn't realize it until yesterday or last night. We were driving back with beautiful sunset on the beach. I went to go hit on one of the playlists. I was like, what?
What?
Oh, I was mad then. Thank God YouTube is nowhere close by is all I can say. Let's just be honest about that. It would have been a nasty scene is what I would have said there.
I'll say this is one thing that's crazy that just happened to Laura and I was that her youngest there was up playing Call of Duty, and he said a comment to somebody, and this is really weird that somebody was able to go and shut our Wi-Fi down from somewhere else, and they
wouldn't believe me. They could do it. They did. This is when
you can.
He said, my son, his stepson has severe autism, but he plays Call of Duty. He's 23, even though, with no disrespect, some things between a 7-year-old age. And he obviously, with autism, rules provide stability. And somebody was cheating. And he said, hey, you're cheating. Cut that out. And what the guy wrote back was, he goes, Mom, he called me this, an LMAO. And I said, well, actually, he was laughing. That's what that means. And then he said, say goodbye to your Wi-Fi. Your parents are going to be pissed. And I just happened to touch, when I'm working in the dining room, so a light doesn't shine on the TV, the curtain, and Doug goes, what'd you do? Did you kick something or what? Like the Wi-Fi just went out. And we hear from Justin. We find out a little bit afterwards, this guy threatened it and did it. So I said, Justin, block him. So while Del and I were talking, I don't know what it was he said. I thought, holy crap, blocking him's not going to stop him. He was in our network. I had to call our ISP provider. There was somebody on our network connected that we didn't recognize.
Did your son give him access maybe to help through the game?
No.
Sometimes they can do that too.
But in all fairness, the way it really works is why we always gripe about people with messengers. Mm-hmm. So you've already given access. When you're connected to somebody in a messenger, you've given them access to access your computer or your anything. You're in a message. They have a direct link to your system.
Yeah, but there's software out there too. It's not hard to do. I was explaining.
Oh, it's not hard. We in the old days when I used to do a lot of hacking and cracking, but once they made it illegal, I quit. But
it up. I would never hurt anybody, but I'd like to get into their minds and see how do you.
I still keep, though, in case anybody's listening that get stupid, that because we did go through. I just went through a bunch of hacking with my Facebook pages and 2 other pages, but so they learned the hard way. They tried to hack one of the CPUs. So a good friend of mine gave me it's just a little piece of software. It's in the computers. It's in actually all these computers. So if you can make it allows you to access our ports. Well, I'm telling you, people, I'm being open about this. If you access any ports, it directs you to this folder, which is the port folder, lets you into the computer. That's what you think. Every nasty virus for the last 12 years is stored in that folder. You open that son of a bitch, and I'm telling you, I've had people write to me and say it pitted my hard drive physically.
Good.
He said, I don't know how it did it, Joe, but it pitted the hard drive. I said, I don't know what you did. Maybe create an electrical charge over the top hard drive or something. And,
well, this is the problem. This is the question I had, and the thing is, that we have firewall, we have this 128-bit encryption. There's all this stuff there, and plus also the stuff from the ISP.
Yeah, but none of that matters.
That's what I try to tell him. Not listening to me.
Hack that easily. 1 second.
He didn't have to hack it. That's the whole point. When you're open with somebody, like right now. See, right now we're in all 4 of each other. Thanks to StreamYard, we're in all 4 of each other's computers right now. Mm-hmm. So if I was just to let something nasty float through the system, where the audio or follow my audio video feed, it would follow right into your system because I have a direct link into your system. And right now you notice there's no lag between us, which means it's instantaneous. So if I drop in something right now, oh my God, it's going to be in your computer. You know what the hell's going on with it.
And I'll drop something into
so hence why they tell you don't get in video. Why everybody quit using Zoom because it kept getting hacked all over the place.
That'll
Here's a good thing to go with the topic that we have there tonight. Can you send a ghost or spirit through the internet Wi-Fi line to somebody
Actually,
else?
though, I don't know if you can or you can't. And I've had people argue. I've heard really nasty arguments about this. But I will tell you this, and maybe this will help with on this argument. I do believe that the internet can increase psychic abilities considerably, actually. And somebody asked me why one time. I said, well, most people don't realize it. But one, you're sitting basically because you get a monitor in front of you, your keyboard, your mouse. Like right now, I got an earbud stuck in my ear. My hand's actually just resting on the keyboard, well, actually resting on the mouse and sitting by the keyboard. And I get the video feed pulling me in. So right now, I'm completely
breathing
connected.
heavy.
I know, but I'm completely connected. I mean, everything is feeding straight into that system. So if you're even a little bit telepathic, it's going to amplify it to wherever it's going. It's one of the reasons it's easier to find telepaths over the internet than it is in person, because a weak telepath could actually have maybe a level 5 ability on the internet, where in life they probably got like a level 3. It's just different to help identify. And a really good telepath using the internet can pretty much get in somebody's head in about 2 seconds.
I guess you guys did pick that up there. I said rosebud.
I know.
Yes, we did. Purple bud. I mean, wait, what did I say out loud? No, green. I mean, anyway.
You don't even know what you mean.
Yes, I'm talking about beer. Irish beer. That's what. Yeah, that works. What was that?
Rosebud was the code word there to turn on sleeper cell agents there to go and do what the Nazis had programmed to do. So if you heard Rosebud, you were.
Yeah, I love you some Nazis, man.
Well, actually, sorry, we have somebody in chat who wants to know about New World Order. 30 years on this, one of many subjects. That's in chat. If you're on chat.
Never heard of it. The WWO, never heard of it.
You never heard of it?
No, never heard of it.
New World Order, whatever.
Never heard of it. What do you mean I play ignorant if I want? Never heard of it.
That's passing the buck, if you ask me.
Okay, listen. Okay, now I'm going to add another new chat tomorrow. I'm telling y'all. I know we were starting to get some of y'all into. Oh, wait a minute. I'm on that. I know that it irritated YouTube. So YouTubers so bad that I actually had people write to me from India, Pakistan, I can't pronounce it. SIMMESC. Anyway, about where the hell are we? And I wrote back to them and told them, I haven't even had a chance to put this on. Oh, yeah, I like the way you like this. It's really, hey, Dal, too bad you got kicked out, baby. Michelle said, wait a minute, I'm the Oreo here.
What the?
Michelle, I'm like the Oreo.
What the?
Oh, man. But,
nice. Somebody take the button away from Joe.
No, that's because Dell left. When Dell left, it did that on its own. Here he's back.
Have a guess, so I don't know if he's got a topic, but I'll ask him. He's coming back. Deli, do you have a topic?
Oh, now it looks like couples night or something.
I'll have to be careful, but what we say, NWO.
I never heard nothing about no New World Order. I don't know what that is.
Our own Justin Castro uses that in his speech to the public.
You leave my girlfriend alone now. Stop it.
Yeah. see, Joe loves that picture. I sent Joe a picture about 3 months ago with JT and the Sunshine Band wearing pink shorts there.
Isn't that a beaut?
I gotta say, Justin's a good-looking man. What can I say? I can't help it. I'm like, whoa, big boy. In his case, little boy, but still.
Jesus. God help us.
So, my wife always gives me shit because for like a decade and a half, I always thought, man, Martha Stewart is hot. She's like, Joe, I said, no, baby. Power is an aphrodisiac. She's got a lot of it, man. I said, ooh, yeah.
Get the picture I sent you of your boy because they fit. Well, it kind of goes with the paranormal.
He is paranormal with them with short shorts. Only a paranormal person can wear them with short shorts. I'd be a leader in the world.
I guess flames don't show a shirt. And they added a shadow to a flame that they showed of some of his stuff. So I did not know that. Did you guys know that? And it makes sense, right? Why a shadow won't show up when you take a picture of a flame.
Yeah, no, I did see that. I don't think I don't know if I knew that or not. I'm going to have to sit down and let my brain sit on that for a minute. Since I used to work on jets, I kind of wonder. I'm trying to think when I seen that, I was trying to think if I remember when they're sitting on the tarmac when the flames coming out their ass in, if there was a shadow underneath it. And I can't remember. I'm like, so
Yeah,
long ago. I'll have to
I
call
never
one of my
noticed
friends.
that. Yeah, I never noticed that.
I don't know. I will invest. Well, I can understand in most cases why you don't see a flame from a jet, because when it heats up, it's clear. It's so hot when it's coming out. It's
That's
clear.
okay.
So I can understand it. But flames from other things, because if I got a candle sitting here, I can see the shadow on the wall of the candle flickering. So
Right.
I get it's confusing. Oh, Christopher, don't even want just a conversation you'd have had to be in the email to know what the hell we're talking about. I'm sorry. Oh man. Do I believe in vampires? You mean I think they're real? Oh man, I don't know. I got to say there's something. I don't know if vampires are this thing that sucks the blood, but I think there's things out there that can suck the life out of your ass. So I'm not going to rule it out. Maybe energy vampires may be better. The things we see in New Orleans suggest that because that's one of the, when Anne Rice was writing a book, one thing she talked about when she talked to some of the vampires, they were loaded. But that's the only way they could get loaded. They could get loaded from drinking liquor or anything. It wouldn't help them, or even doing drugs. But if the person's blood was loaded, they could get loaded that way.
It goes back like centuries.
Ways,
But it could also be porphyria, which is a blood disorder, which means incurable to this day, just so you know. There's a whole
and of
lot
course,
to do with all
they
that.
think that the royal family are either werewolves or vampires, maybe a little bit of both.
Yep.
Oh no, this whole TV series, whole movie's done up about them being werewolves and vampires. Oh yeah, it's this weird thing. One of the things is they only like to go out at night. They also like to go hunting. They like to go out and hunt at night a lot too. They're very mysterious. They're very private. You can't find it. I mean, come on. These people rule basically a chunk of the world. Nobody knows anything about the family other than what is let out by the family. Even the media can't find out what the hell's going on most of the time. And even here, we got the runaway part of the family over here in the United States right now. And still, you can't find out much. Even with the Netflix series, you can't find. I'm just saying, people, it's kind of weird. They're awful sticky too. You need for just an everyday kind of, because there's lots of royal families in the world. They're not the only one. It's just for some reason the one that gets talked about. Them and the Moroccan family seem to get talked about the much. And then I guess would be the Saudis would probably be next. Yeah, hey, while we're on this subject, I know I seen this from Claire a couple of days ago. Do the Middle Easterners believe in ghosts as in the way Americans do? I don't know. I know Muslims do, but I don't know.
They
Gloria.
are normal because my doctor was from the Middle East at one time, and she gave me heck for not talking to her about the activity we were having. And I said, I thought you would assign me into a mental home, and don't say anything. They're joke because I know you will. And she talked about jinn. She said what you would call a ghost. She was talking about her family's experiences as a child, especially that they have good ones. And this is from her. She said good ones and bad ones. You might call them a genie. She said we don't look at them that way. And I know I follow a channel I really like on YouTube called Nuke's Top 5 because he gets videos from all over the world. They have crazy stuff in those videos. And he's a skeptic, so he never tells you what to think. He just shares it. But I know Dell's seen some of the videos. They're crazy, and so is Seraphine. It seems like every area has different types of spirits.
Young lady, videos will rot your brain.
Sure. No, every area to have different types of spirits. Have you guys noticed that too? And is it because of your system or what?
John, I was teasing, man.
They always
my partner is a big WWW. He always calls it WWO, but the WH. He's a big fan of him, and all my conspiracy friends drive me regularly nuts with the New World Order. And I tell them all the time, I would believe in a New World Order, but I know all these different groups hate each other. So how are they going to make one order out of all these groups that hate each other? I mean, literally, they hate each other. They're not going to get along with each other. They're going to be like, no, we're not going to do that. No, the Skull and Bones are going to be like, you want us to do what with who? No, we're not doing it. They're idiots. And it's just, unfortunately, the world just, that's sexy, baby. That's it. I'm in love now. I'm moving to Canada. That's it. I'm moving to Canada. And people, I'm not going to tell you who that is because I don't want your home to get raided.
Oh, my goodness.
But that is one sexy beast, man.
Want to respond to John Smith again with the New World Order thing? It's not the topic of the panel, unfortunately. Okay. But it might be something worth doing a future show on. We do.
It is actually.
Request. Yeah, it's a real political thing. So
actually, we were talking about that earlier in the show,
yeah.
and I think we might do. I think maybe this Friday we might just do conspiracy all night, and we'll put it on the new YouTube channel. That way, if it gets any trouble,
Yeah, I mean a lot of people are curious about the New World Order for sure.
yeah.
Again, not on this specific panel, but I think you could
And y'all
definitely
can all
give
tell
a
me
good
about the
mix
New
of it.
World Order, and I can tell y'all why y'all all crazy.
Rocket.
That's gonna be a great show.
Okay,
You
so
might-
tune in on what Friday night, Joe. John Smith should come back.
This Friday. Yeah. So
Okay,
Central
okay.
conspiracy panel all night.
Conspiracy.
We'll,
I might even have to tell Kathy to take the night off because I doubt we'll be able to do it in 2 hours.
we'll probably talk about it tomorrow night though, because Dell's joining me tonight because I had a guest cancellation, and then I'm joining.
Oh, so Dell's going to be the Oreo tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
you like being an Oreo
there's another option for John to tune into. So
I don't know if you want to watch the Oreo, John. It could be interesting, but it could be scary. I'm just saying. Have I been scared out of a haunted house? No, not out of a haunted house. Because this is what I do if I'm in a haunted house and I start seeing weird shit. I'm like, hey, Bubbles, where you at? Get over here, Gray. Where's my Gray at? Get over here, Gray. Cleanse the house, please.
Take care of that.
Yeah. Hey, I have my own personal Gray. What can I say? Ghosties don't scare me as much as aliens do. Nope, sorry. Nope. I grew up in New Orleans. Come on. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
That's an interesting question there, Joe, because you're down there and with this station, you've talked with a lot of people. And Michelle, you live in a ghost house. Have you been physically attacked that left marks?
I've never been physically attacked.
No, I think
I've never had
them to
anything
jump
leave a
into
mark. Well, I never had anything paranormal leave a mark. Aliens are a different thing.
I had a lady actually read my cards one night.
Not going into the probing. Not going into the probing.
No, not even that.
No. I had an old lady read my cards right like 2 o'clock in the morning, fridge court, right in front of St. Louis Cathedral one morning, and she's like, they're scared of you. I'm like, why are they scared of me? Because you jump into their souls. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You feel it when it happens. You know all kind of other information. I thought she was talking about aliens. I didn't realize she was talking about ghosts and shit. I had not a clue. It was like somebody else told me later on what the hell she was talking about. I was a little buzzed that night too. So it was creepy to her. I do know what she's saying though, because sometimes I'll just get these senses that I'm somewhere else or with someone else, and I'm hearing other things. I'm like, oh shit, I'm hallucinating. Time to go see the doctor, but then it turns out to be something entirely different. Yeah, I get like whole chunks of people's lives, and people that are alive. It's weird. I don't know how to explain it. It's weird. I'll meet someone, and sometimes I'll see them, and it's like I must have been spending time with them for a decade because I really do. I know everything in their life for that 10-year period. I can tell them, and it's usually like 2 or 3 years in the past, and then 7 years in the future. And I'll watch people as they're going through, and people call me and they're like, "How did you know that?" I'm like, I'm still trying to figure that one out myself. Actually, I don't even gonna lie about it.
Here's another good question, because this is interesting too. Is that Michelle? You live in a haunted house. Joe, you've dealt with spirits. Laura Lee, you've dealt with spirits. Have you, in your dream, had a conversation and been in another place there with the spirit that might be that you've been dealing with? In a good way.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, some people might call those visions. I've had spirits that I've worked with. They have to be, usually it's a spirit that I've worked with. Like, I don't do a whole lot of regular haunting, so to speak, but I did have a location that I worked at where I worked extensively at that location for about 3 years. And I would have like the spirit in a dream, and I didn't recognize where we were, to be honest, but they would come with a message. And then the next time I would go back to that location, one was a spirit who asked for a music box for the children that were in the house there, because when they were all living, the children would have a music box on one of the fireplace mantles. And so I went and I picked one up and I brought it and I put it up on the mantle. And the homeowner said that she would often hear it going off at night. So yeah, definitely different. It's happened.
I'm just like that's a great one. It's just like something that you would just have like an experience and like, hey, we're in the dream world, astral projection. We both sort of coalesce in the same sort of spot, and hey, we just sit down and have a campfire and eat a hot dog together and just chit chat, like something like that. It didn't have to be anything that had to be like you needed this item to come in there. Like you
Yeah, no, I can't say I've had anything that elaborate. At least nothing that I was aware of, anyway. Not that it hasn't happened. It's just nobody made me privy to it. So if it happened, I just have no recollection of it at all. So beyond that, got nothing.
Over on the other side, and when I work with people, especially if I'm people that are really grieving because their loved ones can pop in and out, especially if they've left this earthly plane, if you will, that to keep a notebook by their bedside, because I believe that's when we're most open, is when we're sleeping and
I agree.
grieving. And it's a natural process. I don't believe it ever goes away. You eventually just sort of start to grow a bit of, if you will, call it a new normal, but your vibration level is really low. So it's hard to connect when somebody's on the other side in a higher vibrational state. So much easier to visit in the dream world, if you will. So I tell them, maybe keep a notebook by your bedside before your feet hit the floor. You don't have to write an essay, just jot down some points. But you go to sleep, set the intention. You don't need to say it out loud, but I've got a question. I wish you were here. I wish I could talk to you.
See, that's happened with loved ones, though. Like if it's a spirit that I don't know.
Saying positive, right? I've had negative.
Yeah.
Positive.
Yeah. Otherwise, I don't know. It's funny because my grandmother, for example, always had this dream home, like in her mind. When my grandfather passed away, it was like 25 years before her. He was always seen at that specific house. And anybody who had visitations with my grandfather was at this house. But whenever someone in the family died, because, my grandmother outlived many of her children, unfortunately, but that person would be added to the house. Like I would go in and all of a sudden there would be, let's say, my aunt or my uncle. But back when they were younger, it's really weird. But if that constitutes, then that's happened to me.
Yeah, like maybe the energy of the house plus your family kind of knows, right? The gifts that you have, that family will be there.
That house was never built. Wow. It was just an image that my grandmother had. She goes, this would have been my dream house. And it's like my grandfather got it ready for her. Something really weird. Really weird. But it's always the same place it would go to. But yet the inside was like being back at the house that my grandfather did in life build for her.
Beautiful, but still the concept, right? And
yes.
So it was created in the dream world, but your family is aware of it. And with the gifts, what a beautiful thing. Strange, maybe just something.
Strange. Oh, that's a good way of putting it.
I got into, back when I was about 13 years old, I got into doing stuff about dreams, and I was go to the library. My mom made us go to the library every week, grab a book and go and read it and stuff like that. So I got into dreams, and I got this one book that was called about dreaming and categorizing and researching and writing down your dreams. So keeping a dream journal is really, really sort of interesting, because you can actually go back into your journal and read back and go through the stuff and see when certain things are sort of written, and you can look at about certain similarities that are there in past and truths and who comes up. And this is what's really interesting about dream journaling. And the thing is, though, is that one thing that I always noticed, and for me myself, is that you have to, as soon as you open your eyes, start writing what you know right away. Because if you get up and go take a pee in the bathroom, you forget about 90% of what happened. But another thing that I found out, which is interesting, it worked for me, if you go to sleep and you eat a big piece of cheese and a dill pickle, you'll have very vibrant dreams. Something that gets your...
I'm going to try that. You're just kidding.
Listen,
I'm going to try that.
Something that gets your digestive system moving really a lot, that your body starts working, you'll have a lot more vibrant dreams. And this is a trick that I found that worked for me anyways. Big piece of cheese and a dill pickle, that would get your digestive working while you were sleeping, and you'd have vibrant dreams.
About this, Dale. Eat 20 20 prunes.
Oh, right. Like you're going to
And then drink them down with some prune juice. Then tell me what kind of dreams you have that night.
It's just, I don't even want to know.
Actually, Michael, that wouldn't work because I'd be going to the bathroom, so I'd never sleep.
Yeah.
A lot of potassium.
No, you might be part Klingon. Might make you ferocious. That's what they do to Klingons. Prunes make them ferocious, man. What can you do? See down here, because it's Magnolia City down here. Like this time of year, from now until into May, it's magnolias everywhere. So you get this sweet, weird, creepy smell that goes over land. And people talk about how much their psychic abilities improve during this time down here.
Really?
Yeah, they say that this magnolia, something that's matter of fact, there's witches that use it to enhance psychic abilities, but they make an oil out of it to use it to enhance the psychic ability.
I know people do the same thing with marijuana. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it doesn't help though. Marijuana just dulls your psychic abilities. It doesn't improve.
Does it?
Yeah,
like DTE, basically.
It does.
I don't think it. You know what? I think if it relaxes you, I mean, that's your physicalness, not really your spirituality. So if you can relax your brain, your physicalness, and then you're open to more things, that might be something.
Yeah, well, it's fine being all relaxed, and I agree with that. But when you relax, it's my name. It's not really helping anything because you can't really retain anything of what you're learning. So you might as well move on. Oh man, it's just finding that happy balance. And I'm not saying that drugs or even alcohol can't enhance it. It's
like
just
crack.
Finding that proper balance.
You're saying smoke some crack and go talk to aliens.
Only last people that thank God crack is a thing of the past, man. At least around here.
Who's past? Not Ithaca, man. There's a lot of dumb crackheads. Meth, crack. Oh my God, these people.
No, crack is gone. Meth isn't, but crack is. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about.
Okay.
Unless we got a demon possessed by something, that's a whole different thing. You know, I like this story about the oil rig workers and the ghost that comes up from underground. That one always kind of creeped me out. So they were drilling on this rig in the Gulf. And they're going on out there, just typical, oil riggers out there eating their little good dinners every night, doing their little 14-hour days, just regular oil riggers. And the guy said the oil rigs were running one night and they thought they had hit oil. And they all screaming and hollering. He said this weird bluish orangish glow came out, and the guy screaming, "No, it's natural gas. Be careful, it's going to blow up." Then it started talking to the crew. And they said the crew would just it was almost like, it sounded like a, what would some things called that the sailors used to go by and tell you not to listen to? It sounded a lot like that because they said they would just quit working. They would just quit working and just sit there and listen to whatever they were saying and just be mesmerized for hours on end. And then sometimes when the day crew would come in the morning, they would find the whole crew just sitting there in this weird daze and then either singing or chanting or something. Like you just, man, I got it on videotape. It's creepy when you see it. It's happened a couple of times on there, and they said it's just something. They figured they released something that was underground, and it comes by every couple of weeks and just messes with the rig. I don't know where it goes the rest of the time.
Release something? You mean piss something off?
Well, maybe so. I mean, they are drilling through the earth, so
that's usually what happens.
I can't. But it didn't hurt anybody. It could have hurt somebody having the whole crew go out in days like that, but it didn't. I don't know what to think about stories like that. Those are like, well, what? And then you're thinking, what the hell was in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico, 2,000 feet under the ocean? You're like, what? And probably another 1,000 feet under the ground. Right? You just got to kind of go, oh, what's down there? And just the pressure alone's got to be substantial. Something. I don't know. It always creeps me out, stuff like that. I don't want to.
What happened?
What?
What?
Oh, somebody was posting on one of the pages. Okay, it just freaked me out there.
There's quite a few people watching.
No, that's cool. I just seen it come up in the room. That's all. No, my favorite ghost. Oh, we got to go. It's 6:59. I didn't realize. Oh, we got to go, man. Horseshoe Chronicles coming up next. Horsefly Chronicles coming up next. We got to go. I thought it was still 5-2. Shit, we out of here. Goodbye, good night, sweet dreams, everybody.
Bye.
Don't scare your neighbor unless you love them.
Much love.
Until next week, have some fun. Bye, guys.